everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Um, and so today we are going to be talking about the laws between. I know like every country has like different laws, but I want to talk about my own experience like doing law, starting off as a law major in the US and what I've noticed about laws here in Singapore. And if you like this kind of podcast, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the like button. It tells me you want to hear more about this kind of podcast. So in my very first year when I moved to the US, actually my first major was law. I wanted to take law because I wanted to like go into this detective scenes because I've always loved detective shows. But I was told by an officer who was the teacher in one of my classes, she told everyone in the class that if you are going to be moving from states to states in the US, and if you are a lawyer or a detective, you have to take your bar in every single state that you move to. And if you move to another country, you have to take your bar all over again. And a lot of the times when you're moving, you cannot control where you're moving to, especially if your spouse have to move for work. You cannot say no, you don't want to move. It's a little bit like nurses and doctors. When you move to a new country, you have to take the qualification again to be a doctor in that particular country. So in the US, so in the US, we had the big problem in the US with like rapists, murderers, drug dealers, and stuff like that. It's like the prisons in the US are always full and they don't have enough like prisons to house prisoners. And a lot of these cases where rapists, child rapists, and murderers, when they are supposed to be serving life behind bars, but end up being released after like a certain amount of years, we all have then like the family that went through so much heartache just to find out that the murderers of my son and daughter has been released. And there is always like some states that have, they still put in place like what do you call that, suddenly you'll be hanged when you are charged with first and second degree murder. And like it says that the Singapore murders offense does not distinguish murder in terms of degree. whether it's first or second degree murder, it is still murder, unlike the US, where you have first and second degree murder. The only time where like you have like the difference between murders is there is like murder, like a murder itself, and inculpable murder. Then there is like that is when it's differentiate. If you had heard about the recent murder that happened last year, where this father, what is his name? Xavier, who murdered like his twin sons. It's not really known whether the sons have autism or not, or any kind of disability, just it's not put out there. And he got his sentence reduced from murder to inculpable murder, which I think is just an idiotic move from the defense, because they knew that no matter what, he still murdered the two sons. And he really has like no excuse why he murdered them in the first place. So in this case, there is like a few examples where they can like reduce it to inculpable murder. Firstly, saying that if the mother, after like the baby is born, she has like suddenly has like mental health issues, that and she wanted to take her own life together with her newborn baby, but she cannot, like she, after like ending the life of her child, she wasn't able to do it, to take her own life. Then that can be considered like inculpable murder. Or that if there is proof that the person has like mental issues, whether he's technically crazy, or like he is. In Singapore, you don't see that a lot. In the US, you have seen that a lot in like cases where defense would say that my client is like a crazy person, so they are trying to like get him to like second or third degree murder. Or that they make a pact, like a suicide pact, and one person saying that you are in the MRT station, victim A and I will say I use victim because they made a suicide pact. Victim A and B decided to jump in front of the train, and B has jumped in front of the train already and like got himself and died. But A couldn't manage to like jump in front of the train, and that it will be inculpable murder because victim like A didn't stop victim B from jumping in front of the train. Or you'll be like inculpable murder, where saying that a burglar has broken into your house, but that is more self-defense because you are protecting yourself and the burglar has come into your house to rob you, and you decided to defend yourself and take like a knife or something and stab him to death, and that is really not your fault, I would say. Or you have the other kind, this is the last one, the inculpable murder, where saying someone is beating up a police officer or something, or beating up a total stranger, and you have decided to step in to help, but in the process you have accidentally caused his or her the 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 person's death, so that would be considered inculpable murder. And that those you can like see how that the judge is going to reduce the murder into, maybe they're going to just dismiss it, because a lot of the time either you're protecting yourself or you're protecting someone else, and yeah, usually you didn't really mean to like hurt someone. But this guy Xavier, he has no mental issue, and there is no particular reason why he has decided to go out of his way, murder his two sons, and then he still take the time to dump his two sons, to throw his two sons into the canal, walk all the way back home. I don't know, maybe it takes 5 to 10 minutes from the canal to like his home. Pick up the phone and dial the police to say that I can't find my sons. Like, so that for me is just ludicrous, because this guy has a different type of insanity which you and I cannot explain. He is not crazy, but he is crazy enough to murder his son, take the time to throw them over into the canal, and walk home to call the police. That for me is just crazy. But I'm gonna end it right here. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts about this case, and hope to see you guys in the next podcast.